I have a few extra copies of our agenda, but I sent this around to members along with the minutes. So it's going to be a really quick meeting. We have a half dozen committee reports from the chairs of the various committees, and then we have one new officer to elect. So I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we need for an AGM we need 10 people, and I think we got more than 10, so we have a quorum. Although I don't think we're actually going to vote on anything. I think pretty much everybody here is on our email list. I sent around a copy of last year's minutes. So if somebody wants to say that they read them, we can accept them.
Do we have to tell the truth?
Yes. Oh. Yes, we're bound by Robert's rules to tell the truth here this evening.
I read them and I motion to accept.
I second.
Okay, perfect. So on to the committee updates. I'll start. The order on the agenda is the executive committee. We have a report from our vice president, Catherine Jalbert, then the finance committee, the planning committee, the events committee, the communications committee. So we'll go through them in that order. This is my report as the president of the society. This is the Newfoundland and Labrador Archaeological Society's second annual general meeting. In year one, our focus was to get organized so that we could begin fulfilling our mandate over this past year. The mission of the NLAS is to promote an understanding of archaeology in Newfoundland and Labrador and protect archaeological resources by fostering research, stewardship, education, and the exchange of ideas and information between professionals and the public. This evening, we'll be hearing from several of the Society's standing committees outlining how we've been working to accomplish these goals. In broad strokes, we've been working to establish a presence in the province, engage with members, and engage with the general public. We've done this through social media, through radio and print interviews on archaeological topics, through meet and greets with segments of the archaeological community, like the archaeology students at MUN. We've done it through public programming, like this evening's talk, and through special projects and workshops. We undertook a pilot project called the Community Collections Archaeological Research Project that you'll hear referenced in several of the other committee reports this evening. In a nutshell, this project links archaeologists with members of the public who hold private artifact collections. We don't condone collecting artifacts. The Historic Resources Act is very specific that intentionally disturbing or collecting artifacts from archaeological sites is against the law. However, we also know how tempting it is to pick up an arrowhead if you see it lying on the ground. So we don't want to see those sorts of finds hidden away in shoeboxes. So the NLAS, in cooperation with the Provincial Archaeology Office, created the Community Collections Archaeological Research Project to encourage people to share their collections with the archaeological community in exchange for a photographic record and catalog of their artifacts. There's copies of this book. This book, along with an online gallery, is the result of the first C-Carp collection, the James Anstey collection. And this entire book is available as a free PDF for download on our website, nlartsociety.ca. The positive press that we received from this project encouraged other people to share their collections with us. So we consider it to be very successful and plan to repeat the project with another collection in another community. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the hard work of the volunteers who make up the board of directors of the NLAS. We will be saying goodbye this evening to one of our executive committee members, Sarah Ingram, whose life has taken her to Nova Scotia. She won't be easy to replace. In fact, it'll take at least two people to fill her shoes. Earlier this fall, Steve Hull joined the board to replace Sarah as the chair of the communications committee. And later this evening, we'll announce a new secretary who will be joining the executive committee. So thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. If you're not already a member, please consider joining this evening. Memberships are cheap and the fees help us to grow and continue to support archaeology in Newfoundland and Labrador. That is my report. I have a report from Catherine Jalbert, our vice president. Catherine is not here. She is literally on safari in Africa right now. She posted this picture to Facebook earlier this afternoon. She says, "Dear members, thank you for a fantastic first year and welcome to our second annual general meeting. Over the past year, the NLAS has been working hard to promote our mandate and engage with members through a variety of media and events. On the less interesting side, this has also resulted in the need to maintain our constitution so that it continues to evolve with the society as it grows and develops. Below, I've outlined my action items from the past year. In addition to these, I have also assisted with the maintenance of the Facebook page, NLAS email account, actively attended and participated in executive and board meetings, and have provided general support to the other executive members for whatever may arise." Under the heading of constitutional changes. Over the past year, the NLAS has established various standing committees comprised of executive, board, and NLAS general members. As such, one of my main tasks has been to keep our constitution up to date and write language that outlines the standing committees and the duties of each. The committees that were established consist of planning, finance, communications, and events. To review this edition, please refer to Bylaw 2 on pages 9 to 10 in the NLAS Constitution. This year, the Board of Directors will be reviewing an addition to our election section, Bylaw number 6, which will establish a procedure for filling executive or board member positions that may become vacant before an elected term has concluded. Once approved, an amended copy of the Constitution will be made available to our members on our website and Facebook page. And if you ever want to look at our Constitution, it is on our Facebook page and our website. Catherine is also the chair of our events committee, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later. We're on the third committee now, which is Lori, who is our treasurer, giving the financial report. Oops. Spoiler, sorry.
Mine is going to be really, really short because ultimately it comes down to 3 lines. So basically this is the financial period between the last AGM and now. Our income was just over $4,500. That was primarily the CDP funding that we received for the community archaeological collections project. And that was $3,000. The remaining amount of the income came from memberships and donations and a small portion from our Cafe Press commission. The expenses are quite high as well because the $3,000 that came in with the CDP funding essentially went out for the CCAR project, in addition to another couple of $100 from our own funds that'll cover some of the printing costs and that. And then the other money, probably the next largest expense we had was putting on our public speaker series because we have decided it is very important for us to provide honorariums to our speakers. We value their time and research for presenting to our membership. And then after that, it's really just the small things, the bank fees, the website fees, that type of thing, a couple of small public planning meetings that we had, just some refreshments to provide to the public that drop by, and that type of thing, and some incorporation fees. So really, we came out ahead, so we're $470 up. So that on top of with our opening balance from closing last year, we're currently at $827.26, which is pretty great. So at least, you know what I mean, we have something to work with as we go forward with our next stages of administration and public events and workshops and that type of thing. So if you need the further breakdown of any of that, it gets more exciting. I spared you from that. And other than that, the other things that I tend to oversee, the charitable status application hit a little glitch, and so that's in progress. It's not a glitch on that we're going to be turned down. It was just that we didn't quite understand the small print of some of the government jargon. But that's proceeding. And then I guess I should say at our AGM last year, we had 13 members. This year we have 49 members. We know the people paying attention to our Facebook page and our website and the types of hits we're getting is stronger, but it's always getting people to, you know, be a part of the membership. So we'll look into doing more public events that hopefully grows that membership. So that's that in a nutshell. That's it for me.
I suppose I should be asking if anybody has any questions about anything. The next on the agenda is the Planning Committee. John Irwin is chair of the Planning Committee.
Slides. I'm just going to go over what the Planning Committee has accomplished this year. First of all, the Planning Committee was established by committee bylaw in April, beginning of the year. We played a little bit of catch up to some of the things we had to do, but that bylaw established the duties of the Planning Committee, which include drafting activity plans, preparing annual reports, which evaluate what we've done during that year. It also is responsible. The committee is responsible for any funding applications. So we helped put together the funding application for the Community Archaeology program, the Collectives program. For the 2014 year, the committee members included myself, Tim Rast, and Corey Hutchings. We accomplished a couple main things. First of all, we developed a 3-year activity plan it was initiated in early January before the committee was officially established, but again, we were playing catch up. We put together that plan, or at least the background for the plan at a business plan meeting held on January 18th to generate ideas. This was attended by 12 people, and we generated a lot of really good ideas, many of which ended up in the draft plan, which we completed on February 4th, presented that to the board on February 8th, and from that point on, we had an adopted activity plan, a 3-year activity plan, which lays out basically what it is the society wants to do, and that is, 1, establish the presence of the NLAS in the province, 2, engage membership, and 3, engage the general public. And again, a copy of this activity plan is on the Facebook page and on the website. From there, we undertook the identification of the CDP, Community Economic Development Program, that the former Department of Tourism, Culture, and Recreation administers. Early in 2014, we met with the development officer in the department and began preparation of the application in early April. We made a submission April 17th, and we worked, subsequent to its approval, we worked with the archaeologist Jane Vansteed, James' father, Rob Vansteed, to work with him in completing the project, which was very little work on our part. It was self-sustained. He just did it. It really was a nicely run, smooth project, largely because of his independence. The final report, his final report was prepared, and we had prepared, as a planning committee, a final report to the former department of TCR. We gave that to the department October 7th. Just prior to that, the NALS made a press release of the complete project, and as Tim mentioned, just some very good press, and I think it's certainly a testament to Robert's work and the NLS organization as a whole that we administered that project, I think, to its full potential. And I suspect, and in discussions with the Office of Development Officer, they're looking forward to working with us again next year. So we'll definitely be putting in a subsequent application. The final task, which we've really yet to begin, I should say that we've been working at it throughout the year. That is documenting the progress that we've made. We've done this through committees and by individuals, but the very next step, which we need to look at probably this week or next, is to put together the annual report, which will speak to the indicators that were laid out in the activity plan for 2014. Just through the past few meetings, board of directors, executive meetings, and discussions with Tim, planning committees pretty certain that we've met all of the objectives. The only slight hiccup of variance would be that we don't have return to status, which is something we expected to do that first year. But again, that was out of our control as a committee and as a group. So we're in good standing in terms of our activity plan. And again, the activity plan looks like that if you haven't seen it. And again, it's online, it's PDF.
Thank you. Any questions for John on?
Just a real fast one. The very lovely looking report that you guys put together. Have you given a copy to the Center for Newfoundland Studies at MUN?
Don't think we have.
That might not be a bad idea. That's the sort of thing they love to do.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely do that. Yeah, the plans with that we want to use it as swag for whatever we're needed for. We also want to use it to encourage other people to share their collections. Once they see the report and that we haven't taken any artifacts away from people, we're hoping that it'll draw more people out. And that it has been working that way. People were contacting us out of the blue. Just I had my grandfather's gouge kind of thing. Any other questions for the planning committee? The fifth of 6 committees is the events committee. And again, this is Catherine Jalbert is chair of this committee. She prepared this ahead of time. The events committee was established to organize events that promote the mandate of the NLAS. As the chair of the committee, I organized a meeting with interested directors from the board and members of the society before the summer field season began. The events committee was tasked with the following. 1, buying promotional materials to distribute at events. 2, setting up an online store for NLAS promotional products. And 3, developing ideas for events and executing events accordingly. After looking at a number of distributors and prices, pens were chosen from the company For Print for purchase. The NLAS purchased 250 pens that have been used and given at all events. Approximately half of the pens remain for future use. Once various shops were compared, it was decided that the company Cafe Press was going to be the best fit for the NLAS. With a range of products and excellent printing quality, Cafe Press provides the NLAS with the opportunity to sell items with the Society's logo and in turn provide another revenue stream. We earn 20% commission on each item sold. All of the proceeds earned from the Cafe Press shop will help fund events and workshops for future NLAS members. In terms of events, the events committee decided to focus our energy on a series of archaeology skills days. The first, which was facilitated by Stephen Hull of the PAO, was conducted in May and entitled How to Report an Archaeology Site. It is hoped that this series will continue in the new year with the possibility of a photography or database workshop being held next. Attendance at events 2013, 2014, and I don't know if I'll read this whole table. The following events were organized by the NLAS during the past membership year with help from the archaeological community in Newfoundland and Labrador. And this sort of, this goes with what John was talking about. We're keeping track of the number of people that show up at these talks when we have these talks, just as a way to demonstrate that we are having an impact. So this time last year, we had our AGM. James Littleton was the guest speaker at that event. We had about 30 people. In April, we had a pair of talks, the same as we're doing now at the rooms, an engaging evening on Wednesday night and a talk on Thursday afternoon, Coffee and Culture. We had Scott Nielsen and Laurie McLean. We had about 70 people show up to those 2 talks. I counted there's 50 people in the room tonight. It was an excellent turnout. We had the Archaeology Skills Day, which was a smaller workshop. Mentioned Steve, we had 7 people attend that. Chelsea Arbor gave a talk in Northwest River, about 20 people in attendance for that. Chris Wolf and Don Hawley gave a talk at Stock Cove, about 15 people in the audience. They gave a talk on the archaeology of Stock Cove. The talk took place in Sunnyside. There's about 15 people in the audience, and all of these things are archived on our website, on our NLAS YouTube account, so you can view all these things. We're live streaming first Amanda's talk and this AGM. We'll have this talk tomorrow. So we want to be a provincial organization. We want to engage with everybody. We have some upcoming events that we're planning for the 2014 to 2015 membership year. The following items are currently being organized with more public talks and other programming to be announced. We're trying to plan a beer tasting event in collaboration with Beer Thief. We want to organize more archaeology skills days for the new year. We're participating, supporting the CAA meeting, which will be held in the spring 2015. And Catherine says, thanks again for attending, and we appreciate your continued support. If you have any ideas for events or would like to join the events committee, please contact her at society.ca, and that email address is on our Facebook and website. Sincerely, Catherine Jalbert. Any questions on events?
Are the stats from the YouTube page being collected somewhere?
Well, there's a running tally on views. We can check that at any point. But yeah,
I just mean for the planning side of thing of it is numbers that show that we are doing something.
yeah, no, definitely. And Catherine actually has that noted in here. Like when we, I don't know if we have the figures for some of the most recent talks, but I know last year when Scott was talking, we actually had 6 people tuning in live watching at that. So you can add that to the number of people in the room. So I'm not sure. There may have been. We'll check the hits with 3 people watching tonight. So, and then those are archived, so you can watch them anytime. Any other events? All right. Steve Hull is going to present the Communications Committee report.
I'm actually going to read something that Sarah, thank you, the other director. Sarah was the director for the Communications Committee, and obviously she's got to Nova Scotia, so I was asked to step in and quite have to do it. Her and Tim and I were part of the Communications Committee originally, right? That was. So, and quite truthfully, she's done most of the work as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. So I'm going to try and make up something to replace what she's been doing. So anyway, what she wrote, over the last year, the Communications Committee has worked hard to develop a social media presence that is active, accessible, and open for community involvement. Our goals were to develop a media presence and get our website up and running. We have a Facebook page, a Twitter account, and have 470 likes on Facebook and 24 followers on Twitter. The Facebook page is especially active, which not only posts original content and NLS events and news, but also shares local and national news and events, invites for feedback, and provides a place for members to chat, discuss, and ask questions. We've had some great feedback through the Facebook page and plan on continuing this into the new year. A website was developed and went live in May of 2014 and is a hub for all information pertaining to the NLIS. Members and non-members alike can access our Constitution, membership forms, and minutes, as well as newsletters and links to many other local and national archaeology sources. Updates are also made on events and talks as they are announced, and photo galleries are available to view on our different events and various sponsored projects. The Communications Committee is pleased with the progress we've made over the last year and plan on continuing our public outreach, strengthening our social media presence, which would allow us to continue to support the NLIS mission statement. Okay. That's from Sarah. I can't really add anything to that because I've only been doing this for a couple of months. She did a great job. I wish she was still doing it. Anybody got questions?
Just before you do anything else, someone who was here at the top left their coat on. So, and we at Angel Visitor Services assumed that there wouldn't be anyone else here and the coat would be clearly obvious. I don't know if you want to look around and see if there's a coat that doesn't belong to you or might belong to someone else.
That's fine.
This one yours? The number? Okay, let's model this one.
There was actually a lady sitting in front
There
of
was,
us.
Misty Mountain Black. Not ours. Okay, I'll bring it down, see if that's it. All right.
All right. No questions?
No.
Thank you, Sarah and Steve.
Yes, Sarah. It's going to be a hard habit to break.
Okay, that's it for the committee updates. The fifth item on the agenda is the election of directors, the vote for the new secretary, although there's really only one applicant for the job, so I think we can just announce that by acclamation, Chelsea Arbor will be our new secretary.
Financial director's absent way.
We just told you.
Yes, so thank you for agreeing to join. We're really looking forward to some fresh ideas and new energy. So welcome aboard. And I think John wants to have a meeting with us next week, so.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Next item, any other business? Is there anything anybody wants to chat about? Any ideas, anything you'd like to see the NLAS doing, anything we're doing wrong, anything? All right, we can adjourn the meeting then.
Can we give membership to dues? What about,
Yes,
how do you want to do that
I
tonight
can
or?
be right there in a second if you wanted, or we can do it at any time in the future, but I'm available immediately.
Yeah, I think we don't have to start until 9.
Yeah, I'll just start, like, trying to make sure and do all that stuff.
Yes.
Just wanted to-
Before we adjourn, we can just say, since most of us are here, can we set a day and time or place to, basically 40 minutes over beer perhaps, to talk about.
If it's with the executive, we need to wait
Oh,
for
really?
Catherine to get
Oh,
back.
okay.
I think she gets back.
Catherine's on Friday,
On
so in
Friday?
2 days she's back.
What will she be, in shape for next week? We do need to really move in terms of preparation on it, but that's all we can.
Yeah, when she gets back, we'll schedule something next week for as
Yes,
soon as
I-
possible.
I think next week is possible.
Yeah. And
Especially where
and
she's
in
manager.
our, we need to have an executive meeting
Yeah.
anyways. I think the board, we need to have another board
No,
meeting
no.
until January, but we'll schedule a new executive
Meet the
meeting.
planning committee, so Corey, if you're available next week sometime. Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's no problem.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Are we adjourned?
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
Right.
we're-
And right.
Yeah.
All right.
But if anybody wants to renew their membership, we're here.
Yes, and I just.
Is there a time right now?
No.
Tim, do you